Okay, I'm very sorry about that. It's unfortunate, but YouTube gave me the wrong stream key. So I'm not sure what's going on here now. Let me know if everything's okay. Sorry about the glitches here. Emma, hello. And it looks like it's okay. I'm back. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get going. We've got a lot of issues here, and it is the operating systems that you're using, and it's the browsers, and of course the financial end. So I appreciate your patience. I'm sorry that happened, but I've had a lot of issues. So I'll just skip by all that and we'll get into what I wanted to put out here. We got the operating systems. And even before I get into that, I would like to, there's a 1-minute video, and this just came out, and it's from Nigeria. Nigeria started out with a digital currency, and that didn't work out too good for them because it went straight into a black market. So I'm going to play this clip here. It's 1 minute long. This is what they're up to now, like I was discussing over the last couple of weeks.
National Population Commission has ushered in a new era of civil registration with a nationwide rollout of its electronic civil registration and vital statistics ECRVs system, which took place on the 4th of July 2026. The chairman of the commission, Dr. Aminu Yusuf, announced this development at a press briefing in Abuja, saying the framework has phased out all manual paper-based processing, mandating that future civil registrations be conducted exclusively through the digital Vital Reg platform. Our correspondent, Joshua Mohammed, has details.
Nigeria, with an estimated annual birth cohort of about 5 million children, still struggles with low civil registration rate. According to the National Population Commission, current birth registration stands at approximately 57%, while death registration is below 20%. To improve coverage, the Commission says it has established more than 4,000 functional registration centers across the country's 774 local government areas.
The NPC has established 4,011 functional registration centers across the 774 local government areas.
Okay, so I won't go through the whole 1 minute because it's a little hard to actually understand the strong accent. But what happened was they're bringing in a digital ID. So it's underway in Nigeria. They were the first with the digital currency. Now that people were, what they were doing is they were getting rid of their digital currency so that they were trading it in for American dollars on the black markets, are probably losing a lot of money on the transaction, but at least they could buy what they wanted to buy and not what the government told them they could buy, right? So the black market thrived, and the government ended up losing in the end because they had to get rid of the digital currency. So that's a bright spot for us. Whether it'll happen, they probably figure they've worked the bugs out now, so they'll probably stay with it. So what I'm going to get into right here, right away, is your new operating system that you should look at downloading, and it's Linux Mint. And I went with Linux Mint Cinnamon because it's user friendly. It's the easiest one to set up. It's safe. It has a lot of good features if you are not going into, you know, websites that, you're not going into the dark web or anything, but I mean, it's, if you're not going into radical websites and stuff like this, is what I'm trying to say. This link is in the description. So you got your install guide. There's a download link there. This will walk you through it. How to create your bootable link for Linux and your install Linux Mint kit or whatever your instructions. A little bit of troubleshooting in here. So, and you can partition, so you can actually keep your Windows in on your computer, and then you can run side by side, so you can pick which operating system you want to work on. I suggest doing that. That's in the install. It gives you the option, and that will help you along. You'll be able to run your Windows while you're getting in, getting the feel of Linux. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. I would suggest maybe, I've had a lot of trouble with AI, but it's not bad to have another computer or a smartphone or something. So if you run into issues in the install, you can ask AI, and hopefully it'll send you in the right direction. It usually does, but not always, because you cannot depend, and you don't want to have to depend on AI. So that is basically it for Linux. I mean, it's great. I like it. I don't have a Linux screen with me. I still have 2 more laptops I got to change over, but I'm definitely going with Linux by all means. And once you get your Linux, now you're going to want a different browser. You're not going to be using Google or any of those other ones. You're going to want probably the first one. Well, Firefox comes with it. Okay. So there's a bonus there because it's already installed. So you've got one browser installed. But you definitely want to look at Tor browser. And remember, when you're downloading Linux, you're going to always look for that little penguin. That's your symbol for Linux. So anytime you can download all kinds of software that you're used to using, but you're just going to be using the Linux download. And that will definitely be a big help, because when you download Tor, you'll automatically get your VPN, and so you'll get a free VPN, plus you get what's called onionized. It's like an onion. It's got all the different layers. So all your data is sent out through the internet, but it's all sent out in little pieces, so it can't be tracked or followed. And it's all reassembled instantly. There's no delay on this. It all comes back instantly, but it shoots out around the world into all different computers that are tied into it. So it's impossible to be traced back because it's all scrambled, right? So you also want to set up with Proton Mail. Proton Mail is free. You should have all your mail redirected to Proton. Proton also gives you a VPN, which is probably the one you should be using. It is the safest. It's based in Switzerland, and I know it was tied to the Large Hadron Collider, but that was so they could get emails back and forth in complete privacy without being hacked. So it's very solid, and like I say, it doesn't cost anything. Use that as your main mail provider. And then you're going to want to go into, once you go into Firefox, which is your other browser, so you're going to have a couple of browsers, which is nice. And so you got your choice. This link is in the description down below too. I don't think I put the Tor browser link in, but the Firefox link is in there. There it is. You download Firefox right there. The link will take you right to it. And this gives you lots of stuff. You got protection, you got control, and you can look at all the different features here on Firefox. So you got some choose your AI tools, but you can do your tab groups. You can total cookie protection. You're not dealing with all the cookies. It's made by people on the internet for people on the internet. It's not made by these big corporations. It's protection without the hassle, control without complexity, and focus without the fight. So you're going to really like Firefox if you haven't used it. And once you get onto these, you're going to it's a breeze once you get onto them. I mean, there's nothing complicated much. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to get out of Windows? Well, here's a little image here. Over on the left, all these little boxes, location tracking, mandatory login, Edge advertisements, usage data sent, diagnostics. That's all running in the background behind you when you're on Google or whatever operating system you're using, or Windows rather, for operating system, Google for a browser. Over on the right, there's Linux, nice and clean, basic. Over here, you're going to find your terminal. That terminal doesn't stay up there. That's it down here in the bottom, that little black box. It's there. It's your friend. Don't be intimidated by it. That's going to help you out when you want to install different things on there. You'd be putting in a little bit of code, but it's not a big deal. They give you the code. You just got to copy it in, copy and paste. Not a big deal. So we have that. So that gets you through those 3 steps. You can go deeper, and we could look into that later. You can go into tails, and there's other things out there if you want to be really discreet and really under the radar. This will get you there, but you can go farther. And Sharp, use Brave as my browser. Yeah, Brave's a good one. But I think Tor is better because I think it's more secure. We're dealing with a corrupt institution hanging over our heads here. They've just brought in 3 massive surveillance laws, C9, hate speech, C36, safe social media. That's harmful speech. If they don't like what you say, well, we'll come knocking on your door. C22, the Lawful Access Act, so you're going to need digital ID of some sort to access, right? So this will get you around all that, even though you can still use Brave as a browser, which is nothing wrong with it. But these other ones are definitely, I'd say, a little bit more secure. So this free software like Windows, it's not really free, because what they're doing is they're just spying on you, right? So there's so anyways, that's just a quick rundown on your operating system and your browsers and definitely your email, because that is very important. That's going to be snooped on, of course. Everything's going to be snooped on unless you can get around them. What's going on is they're going to hit the low-hanging fruit first, right? So the people that are not set up, they're second or third. But if you got 2 or 3 or 4 layers, Tails is really secure. We can get into that. I haven't got time for this one. Phil, weird comments show up on screen, left and Fred. Yeah, uh, that's another story. I haven't got time to get into that. That's what I've been dealing with. So, Dog Browser made donations last month to organizations that were rescuing the beagles. Well, there you go. U.S., you're not quite in the same boat as us, Lynn. As we have a very I got to be careful what I say here because I haven't switched over my operating system yet on these computers, but people know what I mean when we talk about this government. The previous one was bad. This one here is absolutely atrocious. So, I mean, they're going to be bringing in, with all these bills, they want to bring in the digital ID. Don't worry, they're working on the digital currency. And right now, it's looking like we're heading into a major collapse worldwide financially. 3 out of the 5 boxes have been checked already. And the spending is carrying on, like giving the money away to places like Pakistan and all these weird countries around the world that are not aligned with us. And there's a reason for that. They want to break us so they can bring in the digital ID and the digital currency, right? And that's where the next step is the financial fortification. You got to have a workaround. Now, throughout time, in any major depression, and there's been quite a few of them over the course of history, the one thing that did work was gold and silver. Gold and silver, I mean, it's a little high priced right now, but that's because the dollar is dipping in value. So they've the metals reflect that. They don't go up in value as much as they reflect the buying power of the currency. So the constitutional, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you another site, 2 sites I use. And it's Atlantic Gold and Silver and Silver Gold Bull. Atlantic Gold and Silver is in Riverview, New Brunswick, and Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And Silver Gold Bull, I think, is in Calgary. I don't think it's Ontario. I think it's Calgary. I should know that, but I don't pay too much attention. They both charge $25 for delivery if your order's under 200. So if you're over 200, I believe that's what it is. I'd have to check on that, but I think it's 200, then it's free shipping. So you can do it all by mail. You don't have to leave home. These outfits are registered. They're 100% above board, and they're more than willing to help you out. They're on your side, okay? That's the key. They're on your side. So this one here, this is Atlantic Gold and Silver. Now, some of you might be saying, well, I can't afford silver or gold. Well, you might be able to and not even realize that you can. I'll just show you something here. Gold is getting a little bit high priced right now for the average person, especially anybody on pensions or whatever. But you go to the silver. Silver is the poor man's gold, but it's not anymore. But there's these options, like right now, where are we at? This is a 1 ounce silver maple for prior years, selling it for $91. They're buying it back for $85. That's their end they put on it. So that's like $6. It's a little under $6, which is reasonable. They got to make a living. They're not going to do this for the goodness of their heart. They're giving you a service is what they're doing. But right here is the key. This here is constitutional silver. We call it junk silver. And this is Canadian. So it's 80% silver. American is 90%. So this is from prior to 19 66. And here it says they're in stock in Riverview and in stock in Halifax. The reason I use two brokers is because sometimes one doesn't have something, but the other one does. Like this is a good example of junk silver. And so $1, you get $1, and it costs you $50, $49.40 for $1. You'll get 4 quarters or 10 dimes. So break that down into $40. So a quarter is worth $10. No, it's a little more than that. $12.50. And a dime would be worth $4.90. I guess, if my math is right. Can't guarantee that. So there's the junk silver. And you can buy, I thought I seen some US silver on here somewhere. It's right here, right beside it. And US silver is $60.75 for $1 worth. So you can also, sometimes, you can get 1966 and 1967, which is 50% silver. And the reason I'm going over this is because when things go sideways, you've got a backup currency. So, where am I here? Okay. You get a backup currency. I have to go back down here. I got a warning. Okay. Bear with me. I just have to do a tweak here. Of course, AI has really been jerking me around. I'll have to go into. Sorry about this, folks. I just got to do a change on my output here on my video. Just one sec. I'll set this up. That should do it, I think. Like I say, AI is very unreliable. So, yeah, 64 and earlier, vast thinker. Sorry. So, there, that took care of that issue. Sorry about that. Okay, so, but there's another angle too that a lot of people don't think about. And that's sterling silver. And I keep telling people this. Say, listen, if you haven't got a lot of coin, but you got a lot of time on your hands, maybe check out some estate sales. And not the professional signs, the ones that's on the corner. That is the family members that are clearing out stuff, right? They want to get everything sold. Their relatives, whatever, have passed away, so they have to liquidate stuff, right? So you can go to those, put a few bucks in your pocket, just walk around, and don't be real obvious, but I mean, look for sterling silver items. And you'll see it'll either say sterling on it, or it'll say 925, or there'll be a little lion on there, like it's a walking lion, it's called. So you can look for that. Don't get caught in the trinket trap, though. It's called the trinket trap. It's trinkets like candle holders and they're a silver plate and they feel heavy because they've got maybe cement or wax or something weighted in the bottom so they don't tip over. Other little trinkets might be pot metal underneath, might be copper, but it's doubtful. So, and you're not going to get any value for them. But sterling silver is 92% silver. So that's a meltdown value, and the brokers will buy it and they weigh it and they'll pay you accordingly minus their end. So maybe you go out with 50 bucks, you might end up getting, who knows how much, depends what you find. You're not going to find a complete set of flatware because people are going to know what that is. But it's just another avenue to look at. If you're strapped on cash and you can't afford to go to a broker and buy the actual bullion, you can go out and go on a treasure hunt. Just don't get caught up buying things that you don't need because it looks nice. Just look for that silver. It doesn't hurt to have a little magnet with you too, just in case, to check. So you can go that route. And like I say, you got to watch the silver plate and the base metal. But the constitutional silver, yeah, Canadian is 65 and below. So you American is 66, I think. Anyways, we'll go a little. You're going to need some type of currency you can buy, and the best thing you're going to have is silver. You can always, if you can score some sterling, you can go to the broker and exchange that for the bullion, right? So the sterling silver, I'm a big one on sterling silver because there are estate sales where you can score. And like I say, you just take that to the broker, they'll weigh it out, and then don't get paid in the stupid fake money. Tell them you'd like to exchange it for either junk silver or bullion or whatever you can get with it, however much you have, right? So the other thing is, or the next thing is, what are you going to do when you go to the grocery store and the items that you're looking for aren't there, or they're priced so high that you can't afford them? This is where it comes to getting away from the just-in-time delivery service to the grocery stores. You want to get a hold of these local butcher shops. There's some local here that I know of, and it's not just a butcher shop. There's other farmers there that bring in their produce to sell too. One I go to, they got a cooler there, and it used to be just self-serve, and you throw your money in a jar and leave, right? Somebody, of course, ruined that. They'd come in there and stole the jar. They're on camera. I hope they caught them. But anyways, that ruined the honesty. It was thrown out the window. I didn't like that system because I always felt, gee, I don't know. Anyways, that's beside the point. Now, but if you start using these places now, they're going to be familiar with you. And when the crunch comes down, you're going to be first in line, not somebody that all of a sudden shows up and wants to all start buying stuff. You're going to be a regular customer. You're at the top of the list. And all these businesses, don't fool yourself. They don't like this system that's coming in either. They like the cash system. So they're going to like it. They're going to take that constitutional or junk silver. They'll take the bullion, whatever you've got, and they'll work with you. So if you get on that now, it's sooner the better, right? Now, just remember, sovereignty, that's what we're talking about. It's not a practice. It's a destination. So you got to get there. And these are the 3 steps that will help you get there. If we want to go into it later on another live stream, we can do that. So there's not much more on it, I don't think, unless you get into, like I say, Tails. What Tails is a complete operating system that goes on a USB stick. And you can go to will sheaves of gold work? I'm sure they will, if they can weigh it, which they can. But with Tails as an operating system, it's on a USB stick. You can go to any public library that has computers or wherever. You plug your USB in, and that will load up that operating system on that computer. So you can search, you can do whatever you want. And when you get your information, when you remove your USB, there's no sign you've ever been on that computer because you didn't use their operating system. You're using the operating system that is on that USB stick. Now you're talking total anonymity. So if you want to have that, you can look into Tails. We can discuss that at another time. So you're when they control the food, they control the masses, right? And that's why they're actually trying to control the food right now. If you want to stock up on some food, on some canned goods, only buy the stuff that you eat regularly. Don't buy stuff that's, oh, that's a good price. I'll buy that on sale because that's only $1.50 or something. And you're probably not going to want to eat it. And if you do, you're not going to enjoy it anyways. So if you're in a bad situation, going through a depression, the last thing you want is trying to force something into you that you really don't like. So make sure it's non-perishables. That could be a whole other live stream, how to prep stuff to keep the bugs out and all this stuff. But right now, I'm just saying food is high priced, but it's cheaper today than it is tomorrow. So look at it that way. You're it's like having money in the bank. When you buy those canned foods and rotate them, every time you bring in new food of the same type, you put it to the back of the shelf and you push the older stuff out. So you use the old stuff up and keep changing it out. So Vast Thinker, stock up on seeds, definitely. Stock up on seeds. I have 2 little hydroponic units, tabletops. So I'm going to order another one in that's a little bit bigger. It's not big. I mean, they're not that expensive either. And it's got 3 shelves, I think, and it's about 4 feet or 5 feet tall and probably 2-foot square, so it doesn't take up much room. It's all automatic. So Irish stock. It's good to see you here. Things are moving quickly. The U.S. is actually 360 trillion in debt, and it's climbing. Emma, you still get a dozen eggs for under $4. You know how to preserve eggs? One of the things that is really good to have is a dehydrator. You can do it in your oven, but dehydrators are nice because you can turn it on, go to bed, and get up in the morning. You have a timer on it. So, right? And dehydrated food has got a long shelf life. You can dehydrate eggs, no problem. I've done it. And they powder up pretty good. So, land $2 for eggs. Down south, that would be about $3. We'd be paying about $3 US then, roughly. Or no, that's $4 Canadian is, ooh, we're getting high. That's getting pricey. So, let's see. What else we got here? Got a good bunch on here. Great bunch. JT James, Vast Thinker, and yeah. Seed herbs. A couple of years ago, pre-COVID, I was at a summer market in Montreal, and there was a merchant selling U.S. sterling, Brit, and Canadian silver coins from the States as far back as the 30s, very well priced. Nice, very nice. You got to look at all the angles, right? So freezers kept topped up, mostly marked down. The only problem I have with freezers is when Hurricane Arthur come through, and I lost everything, as did most other people. So if you got a freezer, you want to have an alternate power source, whether it's a gasoline generator or whether it's they call them solar generators, or the batteries, or a power pack, whatever you need. The other thing is you can buy, I have a cooler that's electric. It's fridge and freezer. I use it for my off-grid. I also used it when I defrost the freezer, and I put the stuff in there, plug it in to the battery, let it run. So Faye, Bruce needs to go. I'm off. Smoke a hoot and drink a beer. Okay, Faye. There's Liquid Gal. So anyways, there's that option too. You got a backup. If you got room for one, that's a backup. Sometimes you got to have a backup for your backup. Depends on how long the whatever it is going on. So it's just a heads up. And we know it's coming down. They're pushing it hard, especially in Canada, the EU. I watched Channel Survival Lily. I've been watching her for a long time. And Europe is going down fast. And Carney wants to be the most European country outside of Europe. So he wants to take us down too. He came here for one reason and one reason only. That was to fulfill the wishes of the WEF, the United Nations, and the WHO. Now, the WHO, they want this digital ID too, because then they can keep track of all the pokes that everybody's had. And then they want, you have to show that to travel or go anywheres, right? So, Phil, you watch Lily too. Right on. So anyways, it's, yeah, that's just a heads up. Those are the 3 steps. I highly recommend that you try to get into this new operating system, into Linux, and your different browsers, and the Proton Mail, and the precious metals. There's not much else you're going to have that you'd be able to make transactions with, except for the metal market. Sharp, City of London, yes. Cool and rainy in Ontario. She's hot and humid here. And Emma, yet there are too many insisting on TDS. I know. They're complete fools. Don't know why they hate Uncle Donald. Uncle Don. Maybe they're jealous because he dances better than the Liberals. Trudeau Sr. signed Canada up to the Club of Rome. We still in it. Yes, good point. If we knew all the different organizations that these criminals are tied up in, maybe then some people might start to wake up, but I just doubt it. Irish, what's with the poll? Just wanted to see if anybody was interested in going deeper into this. North and South America will include Greenland, Iceland, and England in one kingdom. Still, it's to see who uses VPNs. Yeah, that's why Proton is probably the ultimate VPN as far as I know, because I'm using Proton VPN, not on my live stream. I don't know if my computer will do it, if it'll handle it or not, but it's with Proton, it seems to be I've had no problem. Like when I was watching the World Cup, I had to go to Australia to go onto Australia TV to watch it live in the US. And I had to have an Australian postal code. So I figured, oh, this is going to be tricky. So I went on and searched for Australian postal codes, and I put in a city, I think it was Melbourne, and I come up with postal codes. Some are businesses and some are general. I took a general one, added that in, no problem. Boom, I was in. So I had to do the same with the UK. So the VPNs work, and maybe Bitcoin's been hacked by AI. VPNs are not a barrier to AI. Well, I'm not sure on that, Phil. I'm not going to dispute that, but I think it'll get you. I don't know. We don't know what the government's up to, like how detailed they're going to be on this. Like I say, probably low-hanging fruit first, but apparently, rumor has it. I have no way of knowing if this is true or not, but rumor has it that some people have already got emails that you said some things online that you shouldn't have said, and you should retract them or remove them. And they're going back 10 years or something like that. So they're already trying this out, and the intimidation and the heads up to spread the word that everybody better shut up and do what we say, or we're going to be knocking on your door. So, but as far as I know, I know the government said that VPNs wouldn't work, but maybe they said that, well, first of all, you can't trust anything they say, and maybe they just said that so people would say, well, I guess I can't do that. So I don't go down that road. I'll keep trying whatever tools are out there that are available. And we have a lot of people that are just not tech savvy enough. And they're the ones that's the low hanging fruit. We pretty much know that people aren't going to turn their devices off and walk around with no communications, nothing. We could get into the phones. There are different phones out there now that, first of all, you need a dumb phone, not a smartphone. So there's, like I said, there's so many different rabbit holes to go down. There's so many things that depends how deep you want to go. Some people just are frustrated and say, oh, I can't do that. I'll never be able to figure that out. But it's not that hard once you get into it. Like we gotta be me, not tech savvy. Don't get discouraged. Look at those links for Linux and the links for gold and silver. The links for the Tor browser. They're all there. Firefox. Google is the worst. I mean, any of these main ones are Microsoft, all that. You got to get away from it. If you use VPNs, just signal Guy, you have something to hide. Now you have a target on your back. Well, okay, Phil, I don't really go down that. I don't think so myself, but that's a topic for discussion. But there's enough people using VPNs right now that, and they got to prove that you're using a VPN too. They got other things on their hands right now. I mean, I know their government is getting bigger and bigger, but I'm not going to just make it easy for them. Put it that way. If they want to come talk to me, they got to work for it. So that's the way I see it. Fast thinker, they're trying to use the age verification in order to force everyone to identify a tricky backdoor approach. Yes, and that's why you need Linux. They're not, I believe the government is more involved with the easy approach. Get the ones on Google, MSM, Microsoft, you know, once you, and if you don't want to do that, go with Tails if you want to be totally secure. So once you go with Tails, then there's no tracking whatsoever because it's all on your USB stick. Make it easier by trying to cover your butt. Phil, you've already given up, man. Never give up. Try to work around the system. Never give in. Right? I'm not a quitter. I keep fighting. So, anyways, I think that was it for everything I wanted to get out there. I hope you got a little bit of information out of this, at least something to think about. So, if nothing else, get into the metals market and get some of that so you get some type of currency exchange, and we'll go from there. The AI has already profiled all of us and knows exactly how old we are. AI is scary, it's dangerous. It's a tool to be used against us, I know that. So the other thing is too, before I go, is also the decoy. You can this is a simple workaround too. Go on your media, social media, YouTube or whatever, and start watching. I know this is going to torture your mind. Start watching things like CBC, left-wing videos. Maybe even join Blue Sky just to click in there a few times, and it throws the algorithms off, right? Because now they think that you're a liberal supporter because the algorithm is showing that you're going to these other liberal sites, right? Instead of just staying to your regular ones, just mix it up. And as soon as you start mixing things up, that throws that algorithm all off. So that's an easy workaround too. You know, it's torturous, but you don't have to watch it. Just click on it, let it run for a few seconds, and click off, right? So that helps. You're playing with the algorithms. That's what they're using against us. So change your profile by torturing yourself, watching CBC. I think I prefer the rack. No, you got to deceive that algorithm. So, okay, folks. Thank you very much for joining in. It was an awful start. I've had a lot of issues. I've got over 12 hours on the computer with AI. They just jerk me around royally. And as you see, I still got comments coming up on the screen, but that's okay. So, folks, you take care. Have a great week out there. Like I say, I appreciate you all joining in, and I hope you picked up at least one or two tips, right? So I'll say bye for now. God bless. Hang in there. We're going to keep trying to work our way around this any way we can. Bye for now. God bless.